can see, edit, and then customize it.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I needed to do some moderation back end stuff, so that's why it took a little while. I'm very, very sorry about taking so long. How are we all doing today? Waiting in purgatory? Nar! I'm sorry. Sorry, I just need to get my Everybody appears to be loving the look over on YouTube, at least, so thank y'all. My computer is running slow. Okay. Ready for that new Dune game? Oh, because of the scarf. Dropped a makeup tutorial? I don't know. I just throw makeup on. Y'all expect way too much from me to think I like tutorialize my makeup. I look at colors on a palette and I go, I like that one. I like that one. That is the extent of my end of makeup tutorial. All right, sorry, I'm shutting down some background tasks. Oh my God. Discord and Dropbox be gone, taking up all my memories. All my RAMs and master control programs and whatnot. How long have I been doing my makeup for? I don't know, 2 or 3 years, 3 or 4 years. I don't know. I don't remember at this point. All right, that might help a little bit. Good evening, Swamp Frog person. Waiting for a couple more people to trickle into. Well, unfortunately, I need to use most of my tabs. Ah, nope, not that. We'll start with that one. We are talking about Maia, the peace poet, I guess. And we're gonna have to probably dig through a fucking Twitter Spaces. So yay! Oh yeah, thank you, Johnny Viral, being my number one fan in the chat. I appreciate it. Shilling the whatnots. Seems everybody's streaming tonight too. Do I paint or draw? I mean, I used to. Yeah, Salem Kunoichi. I think we talked about that on the last stream. Texas law trying to basically felonize might be a strong word, but basically felonize identifying as anything other than assigned gender at birth. Maia poet, Maia. I'm gonna be real. I'm kind of shocked this tweet is still up. I'm not gonna lie. What's my favorite kaiju besides Godzilla? Baragon. I love Baragon. I really love Baragon. Baragon is always been one of my favorites. I think I have my little baby thingy puppet. Or did I might have put that one away. Actually, no, I think I put him away. But yes, I have my Baragon right here. I keep my Baragon on my desk. I keep that thing on me. You know what I mean? Thank you, Spork Butt. Who is the title about? It is about Maia Poet, this person. I'll make sure I'm still getting the stream chat as it's coming in. Taco face fart. Hunter Biden swipes on you. You swipe left or right? Way too old for me. Way too old. Hunter Biden's in like his 50s, isn't he? Nar. I've written down, I want to make sure there are as many people in here as possible before I get started. Hey lady, do you want to go tweet at somewhere else, please? So you're not just stinking up my mic with your chewiness. Aaron Praling, thank you very much for following. So yes, today some people have already asked, who is the title about? Today we are talking about Maia Poet, which if you're on Twitter, you almost certainly know as the detransitioner that everybody loves to dunk on for, let's say, a unique sense of style. I've written down some observations about Maia Poet that I will now share with you. She looks like a witch cursed a ventriloquist dummy who wanted to be a real boy. She looks like her personal stylist is Gonzo from the Muppets. She looks like a hate crime against barbershop quartets. She looks like if Wes Anderson made a Batman movie and needed somebody to play the Penguin. She looks like if you tried to make a Powerpuff Girl, but you forgot all the sugar and spice and everything nice and just had like the chemicals and laboratory equipments and whatnot. Oh, this one, I think really gets at her. She looks like if one of Tucker Carlson's bow ties grew an extra person after he threw it away. And that's pretty much Maia Poet. For those who don't know. with that in mind, I want to start off with, and I know I'm featured in this, but it's not. This isn't about me, okay? This is about the evil Steven universe we're going to talk about today. I want to talk about this tweet from yesterday because it is insane that it's still up. Where she says, if white people can't have dreadlocks, then black people can't wear jeans or use electricity. Those are not even remotely close to the same things. And after realizing what an insanely racist thing this is to say, you might next notice that it's also very, very fucking stupid. Like, as a comparison, these things are not even remotely analogous. Which is going to be another commonality you might find with Maia as we go through some of her latest hits to go on in the Twitter space. Is that she's just not that smart, really. Like, really isn't at all. And the reason why I want to bring up Maia, because we've thus far been mostly able to avoid talking about her at all. But recently something fun was discovered about her. So you might remember a while ago, we actually sat in on one of her Twitter spaces. And I'm willing to bet some of you are more asking, well, who is this person? Why should I care? You don't really need to care, but what you should know is that she is the latest in a long line of detransitioners who the conservative right is occasionally giving platforms to. And I say occasionally because she's not at the level of like a Chloe Cole. She's a number of notches below that for good reason. Like she's quickly kind of taking over Ollie London's like assigned bracket, because she is kind of just really, really embarrassing. Like everything she does is just tinged in ridicule, and not just for her appearance. I know I came in strong with the jokes, but I'm gonna really try to not just base my insults on her appearance. And honestly, it shouldn't be that hard. It really shouldn't. Somebody in the chat asking, is Maia the October 7th made me detransition person? She sure is. She sure is the person who says she lived through October 7th, but she lived through October 7th in the way literally every other person on the planet who wasn't killed on October 7th lived through October 7th, in the fact that you lived through the day. That is her definition. She was nowhere near the music festival when any of that stuff happened, yet it has now become integral in her bizarre Zionist transition narrative, which we'll probably see today as we go through some of this stuff. The Me Watch, thank you very much for $1.99. So keep this really weird culture war fodder at the front of your mind, because this is fucking nuts, but it gets worse. Oh, it's going to get so much worse. Let's go to... So it all kind of started here, where somebody brought up the idea that Maia is actually related to the co-founder of SEGM. That Maia's mother is Zanya Abruzense. Abruzense. Doesn't matter. Now, you might ask, what is this thing? Glad you asked. They don't tell me in this thread. That's fine. Maya also recently, God, I had it go around a while. But I put out a tweet because I didn't know Maya was going to be at the university. I think she was at Oregon State, maybe. And that's where this photo is taken of, is that she tried to do. All right. So the thing about Maya, again, not very smart, insofar as she literally has not found any kind of original angle for this. I even want to really call it a grift because it's thus far been very unsuccessful. This was her attempt at doing the Steven Crowder thing. What this picture is from. She literally had a change my mind type deal. So here we go. From Zinnia Jones, blog by a trans woman documenting ongoing political attacks on trans people's existence. Is an anti-trans activist and pretends to be a detransitioner, having never undergone any medical intervention, but still routinely self-promoting on the basis of the supposed body horror of transitioning. This is actually a really good summation. In 2025, Maia was discovered to be the daughter of Evgenia Zanya Obtruze, the co-founder of the anti-trans advocacy group Society for Evidence-Based Gender Medicine, or SEGM. Maia had previously filed an amicus brief at the Supreme Court citing a paper by her mother, but without disclosing their relation. Additionally, Maia only used the pseudonym Maia Poet in the amicus brief at page 1A under the appendix list of amicus curiae. In the SEGM 2021 article, 1 year since Finland broke with WPATH standards of care, she was favorably cited by the Trump HHS. Oh, the article was favorably cited by the Trump HHS Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services in their Center for Clinical Standards and Quality memo. Kinnan McKinnon. In Twitter Spaces, in a Twitter Space, seriously? Okay, come on. Okay, sorry, everybody. We have a special guest on the show here with us tonight. I'm sorry to break it all up. Special guest Cat. Would you like to say something to the chat? Would you like to talk to the chat, kitty? Look, she's rumbling so much. She's just like... Get in. I love you, baby. Yes, I do. There's a lot of people saying car in chat. Why are you saying car? El gato. Lo gatito. Yeah, everybody's happy for you. Everybody loves to see you. Everybody's so excited to see you, kitten. Oh, God. Sorry, my nose is so running. The allergies lately have been a nightmare. All right, anyway. Speaking of nightmares, back to Maia. Maia identified Kinnan McKinnon as having attended a GenSpec conference, who is like the trans man who's doing this like study on detransitioners, right? So he's been at the conference. More on Kinnan Ross McKinnon. Maia admitted that Poet is a pseudonym she uses to distance her activism on Twitter from her private life. Maia characterized trans people as, quote, all people who've legally changed their names to some fucking stupid cross-sex name because they're living a LARP. Quote, they're all mentally ill and stupid. She believed, quote, trans activists are evil lunatics who are not very smart. During the space, Maia described trans women as petulant toddlers in castrated grown men's bodies. Wow. Okay. Today, Maia now tweets that, quote, people with gender and other delusions who are an active threat to themselves and or others should be institutionalized on the grounds that, quote, we need to stop treating trans as if it's an untouchable category. And, quote, if non-trans people did the same things, they'd be institutionalized immediately. See, and this is where, again, y'all know me. I try not to rely too much on insults, but I kind of don't care. Like, I feel like the gloves are off for Maya. Oh, hello, cat. Hello. She wants to climb up. She wants to say hi again. All right, one more time, kitten. One more time. I say hi to everybody. Do you say hi? Do you want to say something into the mic? No. I love you. I love you. You just want to come up and give me kisses, don't you? Come here. Come on. Come on up. Come on up. Come on. You can come up. Come on. Come on. She just like gets mad at me if I'm laying in bed, or if I'm on the couch like playing games or something. She will just like meow meow until I lay down so she can lay like right here, and like she likes to lick my chin. Like just little, not like for a long time. She'll just do like lim 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 lim. I think it's just her way of telling me she loved me. Yeah, do you love me? Do you love me? Oh, her little cat face right now. She is like, oh, yes. Okay. Time for cat is over. All right, I will be right back. Let me actually, sorry, cat, you're going to have to get down. I need to go check something. I'll be right back. Come on. Come on. You have to get down. You have to get off. Off. I love you. Okay. Everybody say goodbye to cat. Goodbye, cat. Goodbye, cat. Goodbye, cat. Okie dokie. Kato! Yeah, she's very goofy. I love this little baby. Fighting Hobbit. I don't want to talk about that. There's a, yeah, I don't want to talk about it. But yes. So here is what really warranted me not really wanting to fuck around when it comes to Maia anymore. When you are, again, I've been pretty hesitant to label the broad anti-trans movement, whether it's gender criticals, whether it's TERFs, whether it's Matt Walsh, modern American conservatism, whatever flavor it takes. I've been very hesitant to use the word genocide because it is so loaded. That being said, when you are witnessing what is happening to trans people in this country, and you are choosing to use this kind of verbiage, we need to stop treating trans as if it's an untouchable category. Nobody's saying that it is. No, like literally nobody's saying that. It's quite the opposite of that. You deserve protection to heal, and society deserves protection from you. Not only is this infantilization, you are essentially justifying, through these words, you are justifying if people were to take away the rights of personhood, the rights of medical choice, the rights of living free for trans people. Many do. I'm advocating for trans equality. You're literally not. You're literally not. Yeah, it's the protected turtle Jim. Thank you. That's the perfect word. It's the protective custody argument. And it's this kind of shit that I look at when people say there's a trans genocide, and I'm going like, that's fucking fair to say because of this. Like, this is the rhetoric at a time when people in Texas, right, when they are throwing around ideas about bills that would criminalize essentially presenting as trans. Like, this slippery slope shit, it gets faster the longer you're on it. So I have very little patience for this. Well, it's actually interesting, Nelson JD, because I saw Brianna Wu got into a fight with Maia recently. I don't know about what. I haven't gone. I've been too busy with the Brianna Wu piece. Man, y'all, I've reached the more modern research phase because I've spent the last like week or two researching her old forums and researching her like the game and her old art and her college and everything. And now with Brianna, I am on to like her modern appearances, which means I spent like 6 hours yesterday listening to her fuck ass dumb trans medicalist podcast that has like Kelly Cadigan, and it's so yeah, anyway. So let's hear, I think this is some of the from Zinnia in Twitter Spaces.
Internet strolls.
No, it's not that, guys. It's really, you know what it is? They've the same person who doxed me, doxed my mom years ago. He has a hate boner for her. Okay, these people only go after. There are so many GC accounts, so many, tons, but they only dox the ones who they actually feel threatened by, who they actually feel has a chance of shifting the like the thought around this type of stuff. So they, what's honestly insane to me is that they, so like my mom was doxxed years ago, and I was doxxed months ago, and only recently did they put together the connection. I mean, same last name, like same city. They literally could have put it together instantly, but clearly estrogen is rotting their minds, rotting their brains, making them slow. It's like, honestly, guys, you're really slacking. Like,
see, so the main allegation about this thing is that, okay, Maia, you're a detransitioner. Your story has had a lot of holes poked in it before. Like was mentioned here, she's talked extensively about how, let me see if I can find something on it. There we go. Oh, God. Oh, man. New York Post, October 7th, made me realize being trans is a luxury belief. I feel like we've already looked at this one time, but let's fucking go, chat. Let's do it. Let's get in this. Yep. Oh, wow. Just... that's fucking crazy. That's fucking wild. Okay. Maia, an American, was living as a transgender man in Israel on October 7th, but when sirens sent her running for a bomb shelter on the day of Hamas's brutal attack, she realized the gender ideology she held so dear was a frivolous belief in an active war zone. Okay, so here's the thing. If you are not actually trans, which Maia clearly isn't, yeah, you might see your identity and sense of personhood, if it is not authentic to you, you might see it as a frivolous concept. If you are not genuinely transgender, if your sense of self does not align with the gender identity that you try to present as, that you ask to be respected for, you mean to tell me it's not actually that important to you? Is basically what this is coming down to. That she wasn't trans, and she realized it on October 7th. Imperfect Rebus, thank you for tier 1 for 11 months. Grooves back into the closet. I'm sorry you've thrown off the Emperor's groove. Goodness gracious. Sorry, I gave Lady's been so good lately, and I have not given her marrow bones in a long time. So she is going to town on this frozen bone right now. Quote, I became significantly less concerned about all this gender crap, Maia, 25, told the Post. I realized there are more important things in life than my gender dysphoria because I had to just save myself. Now, I had to save myself. You might think, but with the way she's talking, by the way, you might think, let me see if I can find another thing. Surviving war-torn Israel. Like this has been her thing. Like, okay, this is her grift. Surviving war-torn Israel and escaping. Man. All right, let me see if this recalls her story, because I want to get it from Maia. But, yeah, spoiler, she was not at the music festival. She was not anywhere near the music festival that Hamas attacked. Okay, so here's the thing we were talking about earlier. It seems like this is just a reminder type thing. Well, whatever. It's okay. She says the whole saga of her gender. She says the whole saga of her gender transition began when she noticed she was attracted to her female classmates as a tween. There was no lesbian culture by the time I was coming of age because gender ideology totally destroyed it. Okay. This is the kind of thing that I've been noticing as I've been going through and writing the piece on Brianna Wu. There's these kind of opinions that show up from people who are queer, but who don't interact with any like real life community, you know? And that's not saying like, oh, you got to go to drag shows, you got to listen to Gaga, you got to watch Drag Race. Like, not talking about that. I mean, like, actually going out, organizing with other members of their community, knowing people when they go to Pride, knowing people when they go to marches and protests, and being able to band together through queerness, right? Because you do, in the real queer community, and I'm not talking about this online bullshit. I am not talking about the broad gender critical, like, oh, well, real lesbians don't do this. I'm talking about in the real queer community. If you have local queer bars, local queer dive spots, local queer hangouts, you actually know, and this is how it actually bears out in reality, that lesbians and trans people and gay people are all cool, and a lot of them are all friends with each other. There actually are tons of lesbians. There is absolutely a lesbian subculture to the modern LGBTQIA. Even outside of trans lesbians. Why is she wearing 2 polka dot patterns with each other? Jason, thank you for $20 for dog treats. It's actually going towards back pay for my dog treats because she will. Lady has dog treats already. I actually just got some new ones. Some of the new healthy ones that are made with blueberries and flavorful aromatics and some such. Maia, who is from the Pacific Northwest and asked to withhold her last name for privacy reasons. Interesting. See, here's the funny part, is that when she's finally called out on her links to this anti-transgender organization, then she's like, well, you idiots, actually, it was there the whole time. It was right in front of your faces, Batman, and you never saw it. But, yeah, hang on. Excuse me. But you can see here that she didn't want to give her real last name. She's been going by a pseudonym, probably to hide that. Probably to hide that link a little bit, I would say. I didn't have any good role models. All the lesbians I knew were transitioning. That's when Maia started thinking maybe she was a boy, since she was attracted to girls, and started watching documentaries about trans kids on her iPad. The algorithms bombarded me with more and more trans content, and I latched on super hard. She came out as trans at the age of 12, but says her parents, whom she describes as very intellectual Soviet Jewish types, were instantly, quote, very skeptical because of that Soviet background and the natural skepticism surrounding institutions and dogma. I'm sure that skepticism had nothing to do with your mom being a co-founder of an anti-trans organization. I'm sure those two things aren't linked at all. And see, again, when you put all these pieces into place about who Maia's mom is, boy, it sure does seem, it sure isn't hard to, tie together how much of this shit was actually ever real if Maia never actually medically transitioned in any significant way. Which she literally didn't, at all. Oh, thank you very much. Sorry, Awesome Kid TH, for 16 months. I can't believe I've bbeen doing this that long. We're here, we're ready for some gay stuff. Hey, ODD, just got home from work. What did I miss? Maia Poe, you missed a really good roast. I'm going to be making a highlight video of this, though, so don't worry. They refused her request for a chest binder, so Maia turned to the internet to learn how to compress her breasts with ace bandages and multiple sports bras layered on top of one another. She began sleeping in the painful contraption, which she said gave her poor posture. So, here's the other fucking thing. Maia likes to claim that, again, her limited experience with transness, with trans representations, with binding, did give her lasting damage and scarring of the tissue or the muscles or something, which absolutely can happen. But again, when you have this context that she had to MacGyver a binder, essentially, McBinder. Why would you sleep with that? I don't know. She began sleeping in the painful contraption. You don't, a lot of trans men and trans masculine people, and even lesbian, first off, absolute misconception, tons of lesbians use binders. Tons. Have you never seen, I can't use that word, it's not my word, but how would I say that? Bullish. Anyway, whatever. It's fine. Like I have sympathy for anybody who thinks they want to represent one way. And whether they're young, whether they didn't really think it through, whether they were just at a certain point in their life and they made an impulsive decision, I have sympathy for anybody who didn't want to make a change to their body or it was made unintentionally. However, when it comes to medicalizing care, you cannot go off book like this. You cannot improv medical care and transition care. Do it poorly and wrong, and then try and come after everybody else's legal, completely under advisement from medical professionals, healthcare. Which is quite literally what you're doing. Butch lesbians. Yes, butch is, well, yeah. Butch is like a broad umbrella for the type of lesbian I'm talking about. Media breakdown. Holy shit. Thank you so much, Media Breakdown, for $49.99. A young gay man growing up in Christian circles told me, quote, "How can anyone say I chose this? It's made my life so difficult. If it was just a choice, I could save myself a lot of pain." How people can't also see that about trans folks is beyond me. Yeah, this idea, Brianna Wu, again, I'm coming back to this because, which I feel like I do this every time I'm in the middle of one of these in-depth research type projects. Brianna Wu is fixated on this idea of the social contagion, right? And that's essentially the kind of thing that Maia is intending to represent with her story. The idea that, all these young people who are so impressionable, who are just looking for a place to belong. It's you've heard it before from people like Abigail Schreier, people like J.K. Rowling, people like Kelly J. Keene. This bizarre, infantilizing framework that they work through where, where trans women are just, they're all perverted men, but then trans men are they're autistic and they're just misled boys and all this other stuff. But the truth is that, there are probably going to be some people out there who, make a choice and maybe it wasn't right for them. Does that mean we're going to stop letting 18-year-olds join the military? Somehow I don't think it is. Somehow I don't think that's going to happen. Does that mean that we're going to stop allowing some 16-year-olds to get tattoos, which is something that happens? Does that mean that some 16 and 15-year-olds, there was a girl at my high school who had she had some kind of glandular disorder that made her breasts grow massively. To a point, she needed medical intervention. She had to, leave school for a while to recover from surgery because it was a glandular disorder. Now, does that count as gender-affirming care? Under some of these fucking Republican laws, probably. When you look at the totality of what people want to stop and the broad way that it's being handled, which is to say, again, the social contagion aspect, it's broad. It's needlessly broad on purpose so they can put everything under one umbrella to define it. But when you do that, you lack any kind of nuance for outliers. You lack any kind of nuance for the people who actually are going to need this help, including trans people and including a lot of cis people. It's very frustrating to see this shit continually. What is this? What is going on here? What is this? Why is that's on the screen? Okay. No, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Majestic Direwolf. Literally, the 2 rules for binding are don't use ace bandages and don't sleep with it on. It doesn't surprise me. I wouldn't know. I don't bind. But, like, it, again, when you look into Maia's story, like, the idea of her mom being attached to this medical body that is advocating and being used to advocate for anti-trans regulations, being used to advocate against trans healthcare, it's not just like, it's not a coincidence that it's just another hole being poked in her story. That just makes her look more and more like essentially an industry plant for detransitioners. Like, do they not have enough weirdos out there? They had to go with Maia Poet. Her parents found out during her sophomore year of college in 2019 that she'd socially transitioned and gave her an ultimatum. If she wanted them to continue paying her tuition, she had to study abroad in a non-Western country where maybe she'd see through gender ideology. So did they... Wait a minute. If you want to be trans, you have to go to a non-Western country? That almost, all right, chat. That almost feels like an implicit, like a threat. Hammock, thank you for the biddies. Oh gosh, my nose is running. Yeah, like I don't. Lane Kaplan, Israel has a bunch of trans people in the LGBTQ community. Like a ton of countries do. Like a lot of non-Western countries do. That doesn't surprise me. I'm just like I don't see the connect where it's like maybe she'd see through gender ideology. It's like Maia picked Israel because she's Jewish. There was an international study program available through her school. She was there in 2021 when conflict broke out between Israel and the Palestinians, and shocked to see her peers back home cheering on Hamas as she hid in bomb shelters. Fixated on trying to convince my friends to stop supporting Hamas, people who were DMing me from boba shops in California as I was running from rockets. The experience sent her down a right-wing rabbit hole that even had her questioning aspects of trans ideology, especially trans women in women's prisons and the concept of non-binary. That's not improper language, but whatever. Jackie Sins, holy fuck, thank you all for that. This actually really does help because I haven't been able to stream for the last week or so. And this fucking Brianna Wu piece is taking This Brianna Wu piece is taking way longer than I want it to, but that just means it'll be good. It's going to be at least 3 hours, I feel. Like right now, looking at the scripts from my other deep dives, it's on track to be at least 3 hours. Jackie sends, thank you for $50. Before transitioning, I was fairly busty and was teased about it. No matter how many chest exercises I did, I still had them. I wore a binder because I didn't want to be bullied anymore. Then I realized I'm a woman and I like having them. Nice. I am glad you were able to come to that realization. This is crazy. I started to kind of marinate in those ideas, but it was a very slow process. I had woven myself into such a complex social web where everybody knew me as a man that I thought I couldn't get out. It wasn't until October 7th that the truth about her transition became impossible to ignore. Maia and her friends has... Chat! Maia and her friends had seriously considered going to the Nova Festival, where Hamas massacred more than 300 concert goers and took 40 hostages, but they couldn't find a ride and the tickets were expensive. So she literally, it was, somebody else mentioned earlier, like, I was almost on a flight on 9/11. Like, it's just that. Instead, she awoke in her Jerusalem apartment to bomb sirens and the boom of the Iron Dome intercepting missiles. I was sweaty, I was shaking, I was nervous, and I had to run for it. I didn't have time to put on the breast binder. At the bomb shelter, she watched live streams of people her age getting executed on social media. It was really in those moments I was like, why the hell am I even doing this trans thing anymore? It was taking so much brain space to play all of these trans mind games. I realized that my body is the only thing that is going to allow me to survive, and that my body is not a pathology. So here we have this, like, I understand that they didn't want to, or probably mean to, lay it out so well. But you can literally see her, the experience, sent her down a right-wing rabbit hole. This is a similar thing that happened with Daisy, I don't remember her name, who was detrans. She was in the PragerU detrans documentary, where you saw this young person who was kind of drifting, kind of aimless, get wrapped up in the idea of being transgender at a young age, usually due to social media, to pressure from a peer group, whatever. And then you see the exact reverse happen a couple years later. This happened with Daisy too in that PragerU documentary, where the way that the more conservative-leaning media, like New York Post, wants to angle it is that, like, oh, until somebody showed them the truth. But what it really kind of reveals is that they're just incredibly, incredibly impressionable people. That you can kind of just poke holes in almost any of their ideology, and I'm willing to bet eventually they just relent. Like, it doesn't seem like they have a whole lot of fortitude or investment in any of their beliefs. That at least can't be undermined in some way, right? And I think that is what is shown here, because, like, you don't sit in a bomb shelter and be like, damn, I guess I'm not trans because I'm not a pathology, unless you're pretty far down that right-wing rabbit hole. Like, that's not the breaking moment for you. If you see being trans as a pathology, you were already on that right-wing kick. For a while, at least. Like, That's crazy. That's crazy. High key, I'm too tired to try and chat through this, so I'm gonna go brain off and play Hitman. You're all good. Turtle Chew, my near-death experience is what convinced me I was trans. Many such cases. Many such cases. There are so many people I know who had a massive, impactful moment in their life, whether it was a death, whether it was the loss of a loved one, whether it was a close experience of their own, whether it was somebody leaving them, that made them realize they didn't want to continue living the way that they were, that they had a deeper truth that they wanted to express, that they had a way that they wanted to go through the world, that they were trans, whether that was male to female, female to male, non-binary, whatever. That they wanted to reclaim a sense of self that they either felt they had lost or had never discovered in the first place. Now, if Maia's not trans, which it seems like she obviously isn't, good on her. I'm glad she was able to go through that journey and discover that part of herself, because if she was genuinely exploring her gender, that means that even if she detransitioned, she still knows more about herself than the average cis person does, who never questions anything or questions things in private and never goes to explore those things. The problem is that she is now taken that and suspiciously, I say suspiciously because of her ties to SAGM, suspiciously turned it against the trans movement. Where's my... There we go. So let's go back to some of her comments with her harrowing near-death tale in mind.
Everyone who means anything to me, or who has been to any of these conferences, by the way, knows that my mom is my mom. Every like Sierra has met my mom.
Like the first thing you told me.
All my detrans friends know that. Like Helen Joyce, for Christ's sake, knows both me and my mom. Like anyone who is in any way important enough or like, you know, interested enough in this cause to go to a conference knows that my mom is my mom. Like, and
look, you're very lucky to have your mom.
Like it's a very, very well known fact. It's just like, seriously, like. The
Tell them
that these trans activists, they can't stand.
Shut up. Who are you? Shut up. Stop talking.
With ideas that they don't like. So even though these same conferences are open to them, by the way, fully open to them, anyone can get a ticket to a Gen Spec conference or whatever.
Why would a trans person go to a detransitioner conference? Like, what are you trying to say by saying, like, it's open to the public? Slow Mo Panda, thank you for 6 months. Just letting you know, care box on the way. Oh, thank you very much, Slow Mo Panda. I appreciate that.
Whatever, anyone can. And we've even had Kinnan McKinnon, who is like the trans man who's doing this like study on detransitioners. Right? So she's been at the conference. I'm pretty sure even she knows this, okay?
God,
like,
what a cunt. I'm fucking sorry. Like that's the thing, is that it's just there is a lack of respect where if you, and again, it calls into question the actual intention or the sincerity behind whatever transitioning she did. Like, this idea, okay, if you were so wrapped up, if you had friends who were trans and you were so wrapped up in this, then you should know how fucking disrespectful it is to a trans person to go out of your way to misgender them and try and slam them publicly. Like, we opened with a tweet from her that was made like yesterday, where she said, if white people can't have dreadlocks, then black people can't wear jeans or use electricity. So I'm not surprised. She's been in a little bit of like a spotlight crash out lately, between that and being humiliated, between the revelation of who her mom is and being recently humiliated with the whole prove me wrong type thing. Been a little bit of a crash out, but like, man, she just, I don't think this is a person who handles pressure well, honestly.
These conferences, before I went public, like, I used my last name at these conferences. I didn't, the pseudonym poet this is something that I made for Twitter to sort of
prosthetic PJ. Thank you for Prime.
Life,
thank you for subbing.
From my activism, I knew full well that this would eventually come out. I knew full well, because these people are vicious, and because I was really popular in high school and college, amongst a bunch of different people who are all super woke. I went to a super woke high school. We had queer history classes that you could take instead of world history classes, and we also had critical.
I'm gonna say it's a fucking bullshit. I don't believe for a fucking minute. Show me the high school that they had queer history at a high school. A class, an entire year-long class. Like, are you talking about? The only way I could imagine that being true is if they were like, oh, you know what, it's Pride Month, or it's Gay History Month, or it's one of the months, so you can opt to take here's a gay history course that you can opt to take for like a week. But like, you're telling me there's a year-long gay history class at a high school, at schools where they literally, the teachers' jobs are more and more to meet state standards, state implemented standards. And you're telling me that there are state standards for a year-long queer history class. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with this shit, man. Oh my God. Hell yeah, Sea Beans. Congrats. Thank you. Somewhat $20. Goodness gracious. Hey there, Dead Domain. Just got my first paycheck working my first job. Thought I'd share a smidge of my good fortune. Have a wonderful day, and I love your scarf. Thank you so much, Sea Beans. Congratulations. That's awesome. I hope the job is treating well. I hope it treats you better than my first job treated me. And congratulations on that again.
Theory or critical race theory classes in high school. So I came from a super woke environment. I knew that the second that my story reached a single person who knew me before, all of them would be too.
Okay, so first off, other people on Twitter, because she's been talking about this. There was somebody from Twitter who said, yeah, I went to I believe his college with Maia, and she was just a very weird person. God, I wonder if I can find it. College catered. Living through war made me detransition part 1. I just, like, this is the fucking grift, dude. Like, if you, again, yeah, it's probably a little bit scary to be in Israel during October 7th. I'm sure that's true. You don't get to then come over to America when you were actually nowhere near Hamas's attack and then write shit and get a platform talking about living through war. That's crazy. Anyway, sorry. Continue. I cut you off.
Hold off on doxing me. I knew this. Okay? But
if you all right, sorry, I realized. Have a good night. Got to bounce to take the dog. Have a good night. Imperfect Rebus. Again, if you knew this, Maia, why did you make any effort to hide it? Why when you talked to the New York Post, did you not disclose it? Why, when you had fucking legal documents and whatnots, did you again not disclose your connection with your mom and the SCGM? If she wants to now say, like, oh, hey, I knew this would happen. This was all part of my grandmaster plan. Like, obviously they found it. Those dumb trans activists took them long enough. Then why does it now look like you were hiding it, Maya? Because that's kind of the question people want to know. Franch, thank you for super chatting. $5. A special woke gay history class will be watching the Roland Emmerich Stonewall movie over like a week into your regular history class. Oh, God. I was just thinking about how we learned like literally nothing about social movements or like actual history from my history class. All right, I'm going to leave this to play for a little bit. I'm going to be right back.
Whatever. It's like, am I going to tell the internet when I'm on my period? Am I like, it's pretty insane that anyone expects me or anyone else to just like dox themselves and their family members. Otherwise, they're being dishonest. It's like, no, you trans activists were really slow to the game on this one. And your little stunt is just really good PR because it just shows even more how insane and spirally and conspiracy theory-esque these people are. They've made up
insane and spirally and conspiracy theory-esque. When you listen to Maia, it becomes more readily apparent that she doesn't have the natural gift of gab that some of the other more prominent detransitioners have, right? Like you have Chloe Cole, for example, who is very much she seems to be the focal point of the movement. Like they've very much put her as like a figurehead of detrans activists because she's able to go up in front of a group of people and talk in a very convincing way. Maia, on the other hand, says shit like this and is just ineloquent when I feel it's kind of necessary to be one of the like the frontliner that I think she really wants to be in this detrans movement. How did the detrans people get wrangled into the anti-trans nonsense? Well, I think for some people like Maia, it's like, I mean, her mom, obviously, and then like a lot of them get detransed or whatever by, like I was talking about with Daisy, going down these right-wing rabbit holes of ideology where they have people filling their heads with ideas about like, oh, transgender people aren't real, non-binary people aren't real, like all of this stuff isn't real, it's a social contagion, all of this, like kind of where Brianna Wu is adjacent to right now, right?
So many lies that are so easily disprovable. Not just about me or about my mom, but about literally every other person they've doxed. The same person who doxed me and my mom has also doxed many other clinicians in this space.
By the way, not a dox. She keeps using that word, and this is a very much like, I do not think you know what that means. Like, just saying your legal name, Maia, is not a dox. Okay? It's not, honey. You gotta stop using those big words. Gotta stop using those 3-letter words when you don't know what they mean. Media breakdown. Thank you for $1.99. Maia he, Maia who, Maia who, Maia ha. It's because you paid me a lot earlier that I did that. By the way, you're welcome. That's for you. That's just for you. Media breakdown. Mwah.
Including their fucking underage children. These people are vicious. They are ruthless. So I frankly don't actually, and they're all mentally ill and stupid. So if they call me a fraud, I genuinely don't give a flying fuck. Because these are all people who have legally...
You can tell, by the way, when somebody don't tell everybody I got mad. By the way, that's the routine she's doing here. Don't tell everybody I got mad. I definitely didn't get mad. They're all stupid frauds and dumb. They're doo-doo heads and they eat butts. But don't tell them I got mad, because I didn't get mad. You guys are mad. Y'all crazy, insane trans activists. You all belong in asylums, but I'm completely normal and sane. I tried to do my own trans healthcare, and it apparently went badly for me. And also, my mom is suspiciously connected to anti-trans groups. But let's not look into that. I was almost killed by Hamas, and it made me detransition, even though I wasn't anywhere near the Hamas attack in Israel. But I'm writing shit about how I lived through wartime. But everybody else is the one who's crazy, not me. You big dumb doxing doo-doo heads. Is Maia poet, basically, unironically.
They changed their names to some fucking stupid cross-sex name because they're living a LARP. What? So they're not being honest about their identities at all. They're changing their sex on all their documents. They've even some changed their social security numbers. Or their
I need this one. There's somebody who's just like, she sounds like do you remember the way old mics used to sound at drive-through windows? Like, if you ever go to like a Taco Bell or like a Burger King, and the mic hasn't been like replaced, it's like this old fucking decrepit side of the road joint, and they're still rocking like the old advertisements from the early 2000s and whatnot, and you hear the mic and you're like, hey, it's just like, and you're like, huh? Like you say, yeah, I'll have a chicken burrito. I'll have you give me a steak quesadillas. I usually only one eyeball out of the first window. Like, that's whatever the girl who keeps fucking interjecting. That's exactly what it sounds like to me. Just like fucked up old drive-through window microphone.
Identification to distance themselves from the fact that they were born another sex. So I actually, frankly, don't care what they say, because I don't take them seriously. They're all mentally ill, and like, they're just mentally ill. And so like, whatever they say, just kind of like whatever. I mean, it's good PR. I mean, any exposure is good exposure. The people who hate me will continue to hate me, regardless of what these trans activists say about me.
The people who hate me, they'll continue to hate me, regardless of how many different patterns I can fit on a single bow tie. Regardless of if I hold my suspenders like this when I'm walking. Regardless of how many times I go to college campuses and just stand there while people flip me off and take pictures and post it on Twitter. Hey, y'all are going to keep hating me. It's fine. I do kind of want, somebody said, people who hate me sounds like a breakdown. You said breakdown in the context of like her crashing out, but I heard it in the context of like, yo, I kind of want somebody to sample this and like run it back. Like, the people who hate me, people who hate me are gonna hate me no matter what I do. You know what I mean? Like put it over some sick beats. Valir Blackspear, no. I'm just saying. I think that would work. Like very clearly, I think I wouldn't be surprised if she does like a Josh Sider like racist LARP soon. Oh, by the way, Josh Sider's back from the dead, to literally nobody's surprise. Did we didn't talk about that, right? Have we had enough of Maia? I feel like I'm good on Maia Poet, I feel. Insanely racist. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm good. Alright. My poet is gone from the stream dock. However, I do want to talk about this really quick. We get the idea. Yeah. It's an easy idea to get. It's an easy idea to get. We did it, chat. Oh, we got more to talk about. Don't worry. We might be done talking about Maia Poet, but I want to talk about... Hey, Buzz Skywalker, you're all good. I started a little bit early. It's fine. It's completely unintentional, by the way, and I'm not just noticing it because other people have pointed it out to me, but it's completely unintentional that King Ghidorah just like flanks my head. Makes it look like I have a little like horns. Like, I'm just saying this shot should be studied in film classes. Know what I'm saying? Maia, 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 Maia. That's a very good one. So you got that stuck in my head now. Thanks. Thanks a lot. All right, give me 1 second. I will be right back. Then we will get into this kind of dark, kind of fucked up, kind of depressing news. Not great. Somebody asking, is there any other type of news? Yeah, there are. There's good news. I saw a news story the other day about a duck and a goat becoming best friends. That was important news to me. That was good news. Thank you, Hammock, by the way, for the little wiggling men. What you done chatted. I appreciate them doing their little dances. Media breakdown. Am Maia Poet. Am Maia Poet. Lady DeFage, duckies and goats. I love goats. Whenever I'm in like a bad mood, I go watch goat videos on Instagram. And just watching like little couple day old goats like hop around when they're happy, because they do this like wild uncoordinated hopping with their full body where they just like shake midair and they're just like rah, rah, rah. It's the cutest thing in the world. The way goats go like rah, 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 rah. Perfect idiot creatures. I love them so much. They're just little balls of chaos. Oh, I love them. I love goats. Like I could seriously watch goats all day. All day. I do that with shark videos. I love sharks. Yeah. Animal videos are great. I just love animals. So that was a little fun interlude between Maia Poet and this bullshit. We'll actually talk about Sam. It's not Sam Harris, I don't think. Sam. What's his name from Majority Report? Sam. That's not Sam Harris. Is it? No. The fuck's the Majority Report guy's name? Sam Cedar. Jesus Christ, yeah. I have it in my doc. Maria. God damn you. Oh, god damn you for getting that stuck in my head. Maria. Icky the Mimi. Thank you, Icky. Love Majority Report. Thank you for $3. Hey, DD and pals. So Act 1 of tonight's program can be summed up as follows. Maya, Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Stop it. I'm serious. I'm so serious, you guys. I'm so serious, you guys. You don't even know. Yeah, Hammock the Jubilee thing. I wanna actually watch that in a little bit. Got my hair a little bit fluffy. I have a re-dye coming, and I don't know how. I'm so super serial, guys. You don't even know. I have a re-dye coming, and or a re-bleach appointment, and I don't know if I want to shave a side for a cosplay, because that would make it technically accurate. But I also don't want to regrow my hair. Like, it's gonna grow anyway, and I think I'm honestly thinking of like just continually letting it grow from where it's at right now. Because I don't think I've ever grown it long when I had both sides. Like last time I grew my hair long, it was shaved on one side, and then I cut it relatively short and grew it back out. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, I keep derailing because this is actually like a very stressful, dark thing. I wanted to talk a little bit. Let's see if I can find it. I didn't prepare this part, but I want to tie into it. Oh, great. There we go. H3 is unbanned and was being pumped while just looping content nuke. That's so fucking stupid. Again, I don't really fuck with any of the drama channels. I consider Ethan Klein and H3 to be basically a drama farm at this point. But the way in which he's fucking crashing out over Hassan, yo, straight up, if I ever get that way over somebody I'm doing a deep dive on, like, take me out from 10 paces like a lame horse. Like, just take care of it. If I ever do that, if I ever start obsessing, like, I've never seen somebody obsess at that level over somebody else on the internet. It's been months. And I know, Awesome Kid TH, I have a friend who used to watch H3 and like was telling me all about the drama, like when it started happening. Lady DeFage, I have literally no clue what's going on. I know these names, but I have no clue what's going on. Basically, again, from what I understand, yeah. Tell me about the Wabbits, George. It's basically, from what I understand, it began as Hassan, and again, I don't know all the details, but long story short, Ethan Klein has been obsessing over Hassan and calling him a terrorist sympathizer and like obsessing about him for months. And he did a whole like content nuke, whatever the fuck thing. Which again, if I ever start calling my shit a content nuke, I don't do content nukes, I do deep dives. Fuck that shit. Like the idea of when I watched like a little bit of the content nuke on Hassan, and it's not what I do. It's literally just like reposting content and being like, see, gotcha. I hate that shit. Anyway, media breakdown. Thank you for 499. Yesterday was genuinely one of the worst days at work I've had in my entire 30-plus years of life. Thank you for making me cackle today. I am glad I can be here for y'all. I'm glad I can be here for y'all. Well, I mean, the Hassan terrorist stuff. Ethan is a Destiny-level leftist. Well, definitely, I don't know. Who is now in a position to grift full right-wing manosphere type guy. I don't even know if the right wing wants him. Like, he's so... Hasn't Ethan been... Like, at least a couple months. Well, it's been longer than a couple months now. The dude has been fucking on one for a while now. He's been attacking lefty creators all over. Been on a couple of Denim streams, and she reacted and debunked his unhinged rambling against her and some of those Hassan too. No, he brought on a Palestinian. I think it was a Houthi. Is what I remember. If I'm remembering correctly, but again, I did not watch that. I don't watch Hassan. Most of what I've consumed of any of this has been like through Twitter clips and stuff. So I am not. The only thing I can really speak on is that like, dog, Ethan Klein needs fucking help. Like I saw a clip of him the other day where he was tweaking out like that. Jake Gyllenhaal in the movie with Terrence Howard and Wolverine, where Jake Gyllenhaal, Prisoners. There you go, Prisoners. Great fucking movie. From Denis Villeneuve, the guy who directed Dune. But Jake Gyllenhaal in that movie is just always like it's a really great character bit because he does like. It just seems like he's constantly sleep deprived and he's just like tweaking on caffeine, and that's what Ethan looks like now. He's just like tweaking, man. Yeah, it's a bunch of like people who hate Hassan, which is not surprising. Anyway, okay. A couple days ago, I wanted to talk about this because a couple days ago, on the eve of Trump's speech, he put out a tweet on Truth Social saying, quote, all federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protests. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested. No masks. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, notably, at the joint congressional address later that same day, Trump said, quote, I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back. That's a wonderful tie-in. Now, you might find yourself wondering, what is an illegal protest? And again, like we were talking about earlier, they want to determine these things and label them with such vagaries that they can later take a framework and apply it to something they just don't like. So you can have a clear example of a illegal protest. You could have a riot breakout. Like that is clearly illegal, right? But how long before the Overton window shifts on that? Before it just becomes, okay, well, they're violating a noise ordinance. Okay, well, they didn't get a permit to march on this street. And that becomes an illegal protest. The problem with all of this is that it is going to be targeted, and we're literally already seeing it. It is going to be targeted at people who disagree with the ideology of the regime. Which brings me to this. Department of Homeland Security detains Palestinian student from Columbia encampment, advocates say. Agents told him his student visa was revoked, but he had a green card. Agents then said that was revoked too. On Saturday, Department of Homeland Security officers detained Mahmoud Khalil, a recent Columbia University graduate who helped lead the Gaza Solidarity encampment at his New York City home, an apartment building owned by the school, say advocates. According to the advocates, around 8:30 p.m., Khalil and his wife, who was 8 months pregnant, had just unlocked the door to their building when two plainclothes DHS agents pushed inside behind them. The agents allegedly did not identify themselves at first, asking for Khalil's identity before detaining him. The agents proceeded to tell Khalil's wife that she did not leave her husband and go to their apartment, they would arrest her too. That if she did not leave her husband and go to their apartment, they would arrest her too. The agents claimed that the State Department had revoked Khalil's student visa, with one agent presenting what he claimed was a warrant on his cell phone. But Khalil, according to advocates, has a green card. Khalil's wife went to their apartment to get the green card. He has a green card, an agent apparently said on the phone, confused by the matter. But then after a moment, the agent claimed the State Department had revoked that too. Meanwhile, Khalil had been on the phone with his attorney, Amy Greer, who was trying to intervene, asking why he was being detained if they had a warrant, and explained that Khalil was a green card holder. The attorney had circled back to demanding to see a warrant when the agents apparently hung up the phone. Now, if you've watched literally any propaganda shows, if you've watched anything in America, you have heard the refrains of fictional crooks being told, "I have my rights," 1,000 times, and you're probably wondering, that the Department of Homeland Security can't do that. You have a right to representation. You have a right to speak to your lawyer. You have a right to all of these things, so they can't just fucking hang up the phone. But my question to you then, if that's true, who's going to fucking stop them? Do you think anybody in the Trump administration is going to stop them? Do you think anybody Trump is putting in power, or the people under the people Trump is putting in power, are going to care or stop them? Or do you think that they're just going to see another brown person saying they're innocent and not care? More importantly, somebody who, again, ideologically disagrees with the regime. Khalil was initially detained in Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody in downtown New York. Greer said they do not know his precise whereabouts. They were initially told he was sent to an ICE facility in Elizabeth, New Jersey, but when his wife tried to visit him, she was told he wasn't there. They have received reports he may be transferred as far away as Louisiana. DHS referred Zateo to the White House but did not immediately respond. ICE also didn't respond. Katie Miller, a DOJ spokesperson and wife of Stephen Miller, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff and architect of Trump's anti-immigration policies, shared a tweet about Khalil's detainment and wrote, "Law enforcement enforcing the rule of law." See, this is something a couple days ago, I was talking to someone, and they brought up the idea of legality not being a guide to morality, which is a fairly common leftist refrain. The idea that the law is determined by power, by those in power. They can say, this is the law, enforcing the law, because they make the law. They determine what the law is. Suddenly, it's the law enforcing the law. To take somebody who has done lawful protesting, who has a green card, who has an established life in America, who is here legally, and detain him without proper cause, without proper warrants, proper procedures, proper representation, because that's the law. I want to share with you today Marco Rubio sharing this when the AP reported on it. Let's go to see what the AP said. AP, ICE arrests Palestinian activist who helped lead Columbian University protest, his lawyer says. Mahmoud Khalil was inside a university-owned residence Saturday night. Several immigration and customs enforcement agents entered his apartment and took him into custody. The arrest appeared to be among the first known actions under Trump's pledge to deport international students who joined the protests against the war in Gaza that swept college campuses last spring. His administration has claimed participants forfeited their rights to remain in the country by supporting Hamas, a terror organization. Now, I've talked about this many, many times. Many people have. Supporting Palestine is not the fucking same as supporting Hamas, a radical terrorist organization. Having empathy and trying to prevent, or at least draw attention to the cause of innocent civilians who are being slaughtered by the tens of thousands, who are starving every fucking day, who are living through continually worsening conditions, and thanks to Trump, very much facing a total cultural genocide in the area. And calling attention to that and trying to organize for that is not the fucking same as supporting Hamas, as supporting murderers and terrorists. A Columbia spokesperson said law enforcement agents must produce a warrant before entering university property, but declined to say if the school had received one. Spokesperson also declined to comment on Khalil's detention. Cowards. And here is the message from Marco Rubio. We will be revoking the visas and or green cards of Hamas supporters in America so they can be deported. Now, you'll notice, it says Hamas supporters in America. We're already seeing the window of acceptability shifting with this verbiage, with the way this is phrased. He is already saying, Hamas supporters, if we think you're supporting Hamas, we'll be revoking your green card, your visas. How long until that applies also to just regular citizens? How long, and I ask this honestly, earnestly, how long until, do you remember, was it El Salvador, the prison? Was it El Salvador? Yep. No? Yeah, no, it was. Bukele in El Salvador, offering to basically have Trump pay El Salvador to incarcerate inmates we would send them. How long until Americans are sent there? And for what? Anti-American sentiment? What does that look like? If you're a terrorist because you're sticking up for children getting their limbs blown off overseas with our fucking tax dollars. How long until they apply that to trans issues? If you're found out to be helping DIY, doesn't matter if it's a kid or somebody in their 20s. How long until they want to bring you up on charges? We're already seeing in Texas, they want to make it a crime to present as something other than what you're born as. Media breakdown, thank you for $1.99. Meanwhile, the Tate brothers can come to Florida. Oh boy, yeah. Tate brothers can come to Florida. They can fucking hang out with Dana White and Kash Patel. It was a tweet earlier talking about how like, oh, this is such a big issue for Republicans. Like we can't lose Republicans are losing their moral center with the Tate stuff. Like you can't give in your moral center. You can't sell out. It's like, no, that's who the Republican Party is right now. Like y'all didn't fucking listen to all the shit about Trump. This is who they are. So would all Republicans pretending to be good people be committing crimes? No, because it doesn't have anything to do with gender. Like lying about who you are, lying about what you support, to them, that's politics. That's getting elected. But presenting anything that might fracture people's perception of a perfect heteronormative hegemony in America, anything that might threaten the idea that, oh, all men are born to be with one woman and all women are you're born to cook sandwiches and raise children. Anything that threatens that threatens their hold over the ideological market. Threatens their hold, their sway over the what they see as the rubes in their thrall. This stuff that, like, isn't really fucking important. If people actually believed in freedom of expression, like, guess what? There have been fucking protests in America as long as it's been around. Anti-war protests in America. But it's inconvenient for these assholes in power. And a lot of these protests are tied directly to movements that threaten them even more directly, including ideas about anti-capitalism. We can't have that. But I want you to think about, how long is it before teachers, the professors, like think about the same thing. How much attention they've drawn, how much ire they've thrown at the idea of these liberal college professors that are indoctrinating our youth. Pay no heed to the fact that a lot of these professors, not all of them, but a lot of these professors are people who've spent their entire lives studying their fields, so they know a thing or two about them. Pay no attention to the link between the people who are more educated in these fields and more liberal and progressive positions. Don't worry about that. Doesn't matter if they're right, doesn't matter if they have a point. What matters is that they might go against the grain and be teaching other people to go against the grain. So how long until we start seeing them fired, ordered to be fired by the government for teaching communism, for teaching socialism, for indoctrinating children? I bet we see that shit in the next year. If I'm being honest, I bet we see it in the next year. People... Wug. Sorry, I dropped my headphones. People are getting very comfortable with Trump very quickly. And I think part of that is falling into an old rhythm, right? A lot of people are falling into the familiar rhythm of, oh, it's a new day. We have a new clown show. What did Trump say this time? When did he put his foot in his mouth in front of a global dignitary? What accidental conflict is he going to kick off? What dumb shit did he say that's going to crash the stock market today? And I think too many of us are used to it from, 5 years ago. To the point where I think a lot of people are getting way too passive way too quickly. Because this isn't like 5 years ago. It's noticeably already worse. People really skipped over the fact that, and he even acknowledged it at the address, that they are getting private companies. The government is pressuring private corporations to end DEI measures. We've talked about how DEI, when it comes to people in corporate America, when it comes to, Apple or Sony or fucking, it doesn't matter if it's Apple, Sony, Netflix, HBO, Boeing, it doesn't matter. DEI, it's rainbow capitalism. It's a way to sell their product to more people, right? Lady, goodness gracious, can you stop? You're being so loud. It's a way to sell their product to more people, right? So if you have the government stepping in to say, you can't do this, that is the government editorializing and authoring the way private corporations can sell their product. If you are blocking off all of these roads and saying you can only go down this road, how long until the government is just the one making all the roads that they can go down? Like, these are the things that, as somebody who grew up listening to conservative talk radio, grew up listening to all the overreaches of Obama, and oh, he's a communist, and fucking Rush Limbaugh being like, well, that Obama, he's a socialist, and Barack Hussein Obama, he's friends with Rahm Emanuel, and all this bullshit. And not one of these motherfuckers bats a goddamn eye when Trump says, yeah, pressure all these companies to drop DEI. And part of it is, again, it's the Project 2025 blitz. This is all literally part of the plan to overwhelm systems that are not equipped to handle all of this load at once. God. Fighting Hobbit. One of my idiot coworkers was all aflutter about how wokeness has been defeated. Oh, God. I don't know if I'd be able to. I had somebody, a friend of mine, I was at, they work at a store I was at today, and they were like, yeah, I had somebody in my line who was saying, like, we should deport all homeless people to clean up the streets. And I was like, honestly think it's another one of those things that I'm just like, thank you all for donating, thank you all for being here and showing up, thank you the couple hundred people I have watching me, so that I don't have to work at those places where I would almost certainly be fired now. Having this outlet, having this platform has reduced my filtering so drastically that I don't realize it until shit like that, until I hear stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, I would have been out of this bitch. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. That's not for me. Z, thank you for 8 months. I wish more cis people would stand up for trans people right now. We are such a small percentage of the population. We need cis people on our side. Yeah. Do we want to talk about the Gavin Newsom shit? Let's talk about the Gavin Newsom shit. This motherfucker. Sorry. Gavin Newsom, I've never really liked. If I've praised him, it is in the context of him being an asshole and enough of an attitude, having enough of an attitude to actually meaningfully push back against dickheads like Trump, which is if everybody else in the Democratic Party, if the 10 people, I have a video coming out hopefully tomorrow on a protest I went to on the day of Trump's speech, because it was fascinating. I went to a local protest. No, Slow Mo Panda, we're still doing the Sam Cedar part. Sorry, I'm on a tangent. I haven't streamed all week, so we've got a lot to get through. And I keep forgetting little things. Yeah, Axios, great way to fucking frame it. No, you're good, Slow Motion Panda. It's no big deal. Newsom's comments on trans athletes get muted rebuke from Democrats. Several Democrats echoed a leave it to the locality stance Sunday when asked their take on trans athletes competing in girls and women's sports. In a conversation with right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk on Newsom's podcast, This is Gavin Newsom, the California governor contended that trans athletes competing in girls and women's sports was, quote, deeply unfair, but Senate Democrats voted unanimously Monday to block a GOP bill that would have banned trans athletes from women's sports in schools. Arguing that trans sports participation should be a state or local level decision is an emerging Dem strategy to counter Republican attacks on their support for trans rights, which is a dog shit plan, by the way. That is basically, by the way, doing nothing. Like it is. What you guarantee there, if you do not have federal protections against these discriminations, what you're guaranteeing is that the ley lines are going to remain the same. There's nothing that is going to push the red municipalities or the blue municipalities to work against what those constituents have already been, like, convinced of. Like, you're going to have Ohio and fucking Tennessee and Florida voting against it. You're going to have California and probably Washington, fucking New York and Maine voting for it. Or if it even goes to a vote in those states. this is a way for, and I want to be very clear here, this is a way for the Democrat establishment to wash their hands of the trans issue. Right? This is a way for people like Gavin fucking Newsom to start polishing their image for next election, which fucking you better believe this motherfucker is. And part of that is, again, we've already seen the Democrats' plan. It came out a little while ago that, all the Dems got together and they're like, oh gosh, where do we go with Trump? What do we do to start preparing for the next election? And they're like, well, we need to double down on patriotism and nationalism. We need to go after the populist sentiment that Trump had. Not, of course, by catering to like workers' movements or unions or progressive rights or any of the myriad groups that they just pissed and shit all over in the Kamala run. No. Not those. We need to basically just become Republican light, but without all the crazy stuff. We want to be the sensible option. The problem is that we live in a country that does not want the sensible option. So what the fuck are you doing? Fight and Hobbit can confirm Bill Lee and the conservative majority here in Tennessee are already planting their flag in the ground and throwing trans folk under the bus. I mean, we've seen it. We've talked about it in previous streams. We talked about how in Texas, in fucking Ohio, I think in Wisconsin, there was another one. Like all of these anti-trans bills, there are dozens of them all over the country right now. It's just incredibly fucking bleak. That so many, and here's the thing, is that a lot of people look at this and they point to, look at how they point to the New York Times poll from the beginning of the year and say, look at how unpopular trans rights are. Look at how unpopular it is. To which I would point to you, find me fucking any polls from the 1960s about the civil rights movement, about Martin Luther King and public opinion on Dr. King. Not the more radical people, what history will tell you are the more radical people, not people like Fred Hampton, not people like Huey Newton, not people like Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King. The civil rights leader every child, every 5-6-year-old learns about. The one that is palatable to white America, right? Go back and look at the approval ratings, the public approval ratings for Dr. King. And this isn't to say that, I want to be very clear here before anybody misconstrues what I'm saying. This isn't to say that the struggle for trans rights, the struggle for civil rights with people of color and black people in the South, or anything. Well, I mean, they are alike in some key ways, but entirely different history, entirely different groups, right? And there are a lot of overlap between those groups. Let's not forget that. But insofar as it is a struggle for civil rights, insofar as it is a struggle for the recognition of people, the right to their independence and personhood and self-expression, free of the dogmatic tethers that these motherfuckers just want to put on anyone arbitrarily, mind you. They'll say it's because of their religion, just like they did, again, with people forget how many problems in America have been caused by religion. Not the community it brings, not the good things that it can be, but by people wanting to use it to justify their hatred, justify their bigotry and their prejudices. For hundreds of years, it was the church standard talking point for so many churches to say that the black man, the black person, was inherently inferior to the white man. This is one of the many things I learned. I've been reading Ibram Kendi's phenomenal fucking book, Stamped from the Beginning. It's written so impeccably well. Can't say enough good things about it. And he goes over the origin, one of the possible origins historians have for the name Sambo, which is a very, now known as very, like, racist remark. Or racist, it can be a racist nickname. It was a children's character in the 1900s. But one of them was as one of the origins of the name of this character was a slave who was taught Christianity back when Quakers and shit didn't know, like, hey, should we teach? Is it cool to teach black people this religion thing? Or does that mean that we'll have to, like, see them up in heaven? And some of the slaveholders found that it's actually easier to make people subservient when you convince them from a young age that, hey, God wants you to be like this. This me beating you, me raping you, me murdering you whenever I want. Yeah, that's the way, like, that's just the way God dealt the cards. And Sambo was one of the kind of first examples of, like, teaching that and having it be taught among the slaves, according to the history book. Again, I hope I'm not butchering that story too badly. Everybody should go read Ibram Kendi's book, Stamped from the Beginning. It's fucking incredible. One of the few books that I've read recently, and I'm like, I'm actually going to reread this because it is so dense with information. Every fucking page just has so much shit. So that is all to say that, like, American history is the history of people using their beliefs to oppress others and finding justifications, regardless of whether it's supported within their beliefs. Stamped from the Beginning. Here, I'll look it up and put it on the while I'm talking about it. Oh, I didn't realize it was there was a documentary on it. Oh, based on Ibram X. Kendi's. I will have to watch that. Actually, I think I canceled my subscription to Netflix. Man, fuck you, get out of here. Why? Get away, go. But yeah, incredible book. Really, really great. Can't recommend it enough. But again, it is one of those things where, like, you read through and you see so many similarities in civil rights struggles between these completely different groups. And this is true of really any struggle. Doesn't matter if it's women's suffrage, doesn't matter if it's labor rights, doesn't matter if it's anybody else. That the framework will try to adjust itself to justify keeping somebody who's oppressed. And that is what we are really seeing right here now with trans people. It is a maybe one of the most transparent examples I've seen of what so many people who have been called the radical left have said for so long, is that what the fuck is the difference between a Democrat and a Republican? When you really get down to it, when you put aside all the culture war bullshit, with as much as the Democrats do for us, and as little as the Democrats do for us, and as much as the Republicans work against us, what the fuck is the actual difference? Slummo Panic question: where do homeless, mostly American-born citizens go when they're deported, and does that lady know what deporting means? So right now, we don't know, because it turns out that there was probably a lot of, and I hope that there are civil rights lawyers doing it, but when Trump came into office, there were a lot of ICE deportations that were, like, a lot of people later were like, no, actually, this person didn't get deported to the right country. Or actually, this person had a green card. Right, we just got done talking about a Palestinian rights activist who had a green card, and nobody knows where he is right now. His wife and his lawyer can't find the detention facility he's been sent to. And I'm smiling, but it's out of pure anger and rage. Coda Anthony, Christian abolitionists were also the only strong opposition to slavery that has ever existed. They are solely responsible for slavery being condemned in the world today. That is actually very true. And Coda Anthony, it's actually really interesting, again, reading this book. As much as, all right, so that is true. But that was a relatively small subsection, but it was consistent for hundreds of years. There were people back in the 16 and 1700s arguing for abolition of slavery, well before the Civil War, well before John Brown. And I find that to give me a little bit of hope. I was actually thinking about this when I was reading the book, is that it is hopeful to think about how long and hard fought some battles were and how worth it they were in the end. And this is what I get at. This is why I point people to my Wolfenstein essay, is that one of the things I touch on there, in that they get so right about the idea of resistance fighting, of BJ as a character as a resistance fighter, is the idea that he will probably not live to see the world that he's fighting for. He's not going to live, very likely, to see a world completely free of Nazis in the fictional context of that world, right? But that doesn't mean that he's going to stop fighting for it. Doesn't matter if it's his kids or his kids' kids. And that's something I think about kind of a lot, lately, at least. Slummo Panda, I literally cannot get over that so many rich celebs and people who supported and even promoted Trump are now fleeing the country in droves, but those of us whose lives and survival are on the line and who want to get the fuck out this hellhole don't have that option. Yeah, and that's the way it's always been. They still need workers. American jobs. That's what they're bringing back, right? Yay. What was I talking about? We were talking about Gavin Newsom, dickhead. I don't want to talk about him anymore. Ibram X. Kendi, phenomenal book. Let's go to the Sam Cedar thing. Oh. Wait. Oh God, I have to. All right, yeah, we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna look at the Hillsdale College thing. How are we doing, chat? How are we feeling? Are you feeling? Are you feeling great? Oh, I'm feeling so good. If playback doesn't, man, fuck you. I ain't restarting shit. Yeah, Hillsdale College. My mom still gets stuff. So before we go into Sam, who they Rorschached his ass. They really did. They were like, I think this isn't my joke. I saw it on Twitter, but somebody said like most of the videos are like, how did they put it? You know, one Democrat locked in a room with 20, or one Republican locked in a room with 20 liberals or whatever, and his is just like 20 conservatives locked in a room with Sam Cedar, which is fucking great. It's fucking good. I love that. Buzz Skywalker 32, I'm great. I'm playing Ghosts of Tsushima and about to go enjoy some good green. I don't know. Does Ghost of Tsushima, does that have good green grass? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never smoking the marijuanas before. If that is what you're referring to, I have never partaken of any illicit substances that you may know about. So I wish you well in all your adventures with Chinese greenery and whatnots. Support educational efforts to counter radical trans ideology and other ideas destructive to liberty. Fuck, man. Whoa! All right, let's go. I don't know why you people are saying yeah right, as if I'm a good Christian. I've never partaken of the devil's lettuce. That is because that would be demonic, and I have no associations whatsoever with demons or demonic imagery of any kind. That's not me. That's not who I am, and that's goddamn. I tried as a joke to move Lamb Chop, but I forgot that Lamb Chop is also in the background. Oh, sorry, buddy. There you go. Oh man. I want to read this at some point because this is fucking nuts. Hillsdale College. For those who don't know, Hillsdale College is much like PragerU. Well, actually, Hillsdale is a real college. There was a time when my mom wanted to send me to Hillsdale College. Thank you for helping us distribute Inside the Transgender Empire. Empire! Inside the Transgender Empire. I wouldn't be surprised if these fucking goofy dickheads like made like a trans AI Darth Vader image. Like, oh god, somebody definitely floated that idea. Like, at least floated that idea, right? I have altered my estrogen. Pray I do not alter it further. The forces of the far left have never pushed as aggressively as they are today to destroy the American family and remake our society. Mind you, this is who would be the emperor? I don't know, who would be the trans emperor? To them? I don't even know. Who's the most prominent trans woman? Trans person? Hunter Schafer? Like Laverne Cox? I don't know. Trans identity Americans. God, it's like, even when they're trying to outlaw this shit, they're still fucking targeting it and acting like we're the overwhelming majority. As if this is as if this isn't grinding 0.5% of the population into the fucking dirt and just trying to like encourage any kind of violence and exclusion against them at every level. And instead they're rising up. They need your money and support to fight the trans empire. This is fucking nuts. From would you look? It's Christopher Rufo. How do I Can I read it? I don't want to. I'm not. No. Make a gift. Oh man! For a gift of $10, we will send you 10 free print copies of Inside the Transgender Empire to give to your family and friends. Woo! Oh, that's fucking nuts. Dead Domain Dylan Mulvaney? Maybe. Yeah, that is for a gift of $10. That is not how gifts work, mon frère. That's not how you do gifts where I'm from, amigo. Give to your family and friends and distribute amongst your community. The special offer is part of our effort to arm even more Americans with the facts on radical trans ideology. From Christopher Rufo, the dude who has been caught on camera many times just saying, yeah, we just like make shit up basically, and we go after targets. Like, I basically fabricated everything about CRT and made critical race theory a buzzword. Oh, that's fucking crazy. Tax deductible gift. I would rather repaint my fucking ceiling, honestly. Bite my ass, Hillsdale College. I do want to read it though. How do I? Is there not a way to read this? All right, let me at least read the introductory paragraph. What do we got? The transgender movement is pressing its agenda everywhere. Most publicly, activist teachers are using classrooms to propagandize on its behalf, and activist health professionals is a crazy way to say like the overwhelming majority of medical care providers. The mutilation of children under the euphemistic banner of gender-affirming care. That's not what gender-affirming care is, and like WPATH guidelines are incredibly clear, and they know this. But again, fuck the truth. People, dumbasses like Christopher Rufo, just say whatever the fuck they want, because now, especially now, who's going to fact check them? Like this goes back to what we were just talking about with Gavin Newsom, is like when you accept these frameworks that the Republicans are laying out, which is what people like Gavin Newsom and the majority of the Democrat Party are doing. They see the trans voting bloc as small enough that, like, yeah, we can throw them under the bus. It's not going to affect our polls at all. That they have no principled reason to actually be against discriminations against trans people. In at least certainly not in the same way that they have principled reasons to advocate for black people or Latinos, right? Like that is in interest of a sizable portion of their voter bloc. Trans people, not so much. So they don't have as much of a problem throwing us under the bus. And in this case, that means when they are trying to get those conservative votes, that means accepting the frameworks that the conservatives had laid out. So when you really ask yourself, like, why so many people in that New York Times poll, by the way, were saying like, well, yeah, trans issues, I think it's a threat to women's space, and I think it's a threat to women's sports. And people are asking you, well, see, obviously this is what most of America thinks. It's like, because there's no meaningful opposition. There's no meaningful ideological representation of trans people and who they are outside of trans people themselves, because we cannot apparently count on our fucking allies anymore. I hate this. Anyway, let's watch something a little bit more fun, a little bit more woohoo. My boy Sam. I'm willing to bet Sam is going to say what I'm going to say, but I don't think a majority of Americans quite know what DEI is. Like, most people agree with the most people agree with the broad ideas that we are stronger together when we're diverse, that people should earn the spot that they have. And guess what? Just because we've talked about this with the airline shit, right? Where people wanted to say, hey, QETP, have been saying, you know, for months now, people have been saying like, oh, this DEI stuff, like you're going to get people killed with, you know, this, that, and the other on fucking airline stuff. We need more airline pilots who are white or whatever, because obviously the DEI hires aren't working out. But the reason why airlines diversified, we talked about this. We've gone into this multiple times. The reason why airlines diversified their pilot programs and tried to reach out to more diverse communities is because, A, there was an untapped market there, like pilots had been historically predominantly white, and B, they needed pilots. Airlines have had a pilot shortage for years now. Sorry, I'm just keep getting fucked into a corner here. And so those two things met, and capitalism is going to capitalism, and it's going after an untapped market. It has nothing to do with lowering the standards to meet a demographic group, which is what Republicans want to use as an excuse to try and clamp down on DEI and say that, like, oh, well, it means that less white people are going to get in. Doesn't fucking mean that at all. Oh, so close. Anyway. Hello, Kiwi TP. How are you doing? Anyway, Sam. Nobody in the Democrat Party is, like, trying to do erasure of J.D. Vance's Indian wife. What? Like, what? Are you saying that because you think that, like, negates something he did? Like, that somehow makes him unable to be racist? Is that what he's trying to get at? I feel like that's what he's trying to say. All right, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it in the middle. Chat, we're going for it. We're going to risk it for the biscuit. Wait, no. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. How do I get in? God damn it. Okay. Mid-air fight. That's fine.
Was a Democrat, his wife would be lauded all over everything because of her color of her skin.
You know, listen, I'm not here to defend the Democrat.
Okay, whoa. If that were true, why aren't they doing the same thing for Kash Patel, who is also Indian? Like, if what he is saying were such a big focal point, like, why not? Nobody gives a fuck. What people actually care about with Kash Patel is that he's fucking unqualified for the role he has. In many ways, he actually is a DEI hire. Like, in many ways, Kash Patel, not just Kash Patel, and it's not just because he's Indian. Pete Hegseth, fucking Dan Bongino. Like, oh, God. I'll get into a whole thing. First off, age of 18 is problematically not the age of consent in, like, 90, like, what do you think that stops children from doing those things? I guess with parental permission, kinda. Fine, continue. This is no spoilers. This is fucking nuts. They
not be able to consent to a sex change. Now, in terms of a DEI initiative,
Okay, whoa. Again, this person has, this is a Blair White listener, I can tell. This person is working under the delusion that children are getting sex changes. And we know verifiably this isn't fucking happening. We've heard this. Anytime you go and look at the modern Christian right, they're saying, oh, they're giving 3-year-olds sex changes. Doesn't fucking happen. WPATH guidelines are incredibly clear. This does not happen. The next time somebody says this, if you're in an argument and somebody says, hey, I'm like, I don't have a problem with trans people, because here's the form the argument takes. I don't have a problem with trans people, but I don't have a problem with trans people. They just need to not give kids sex changes. You look into their fucking eyes and you say, you're in luck. They don't. All right, let's kick it up a notch. Like, God, I hate, this is the dumbest argument that for some reason all of these dorks want to have lately. Like, the Christian right has been touting this for as long as I've been alive, but it is really getting hammered home in the last couple of years, especially, that you can't have morality without Christian morality. And it's just not fucking true. Like, Sam's humanist framework that he's talking about, where, like, you want to have a system of government, you have a system of belief that minimizes the suffering for the most people possible. That's great. That is a great standard of leftism. It has nothing to do with God, because while the things that make people suffer are subjective, they can change. You cannot like somebody leaving you to be with another partner, even though that's what they want, right? Even if that causes you discomfort, that might cause you suffering. Oh, sorry. Fucking David Legend. Oh, eat it. Anyway, that might cause you suffering in like the short term, but that's not the same kind of morality that they're talking about, where they say, no, I only have these laws, I only have these things I live by because, like, and I hate to sound like fucking Reddit atheist, but it's Sky Daddy bullshit. It is like, without the moralism set forth by Abrahamic religions, there's nothing stopping me from killing people. And it's like, that makes you more of a fucking psychopath, because it is objectively observable. Murder and violence cause pain and suffering. Those are objectively bad things. Those are the most extreme possible examples you can have of those. Like, you don't need a moralistic framework to punch somebody and say, like, well, God didn't tell me not to punch you. It's like, you are inflicting needless pain on another person. It's very fucking easy to understand. Ugh. Sorry. This is one of the dumbest arguments that I continually see. It drives me up a fucking, it drives me up a wall. I saw somebody say I should not have gotten a rocket launcher.
Low reproductive
Excuse
birth
you?
rates. You have a reproductive dead end. So
no, what are you talking about? Is this moralist frameworks like forcing people to have kids? What the fuck? Shut up. Ooh, chief warrant officer. No, actually, I'll have you know that's not a rocket launcher. It's actually a brute shot, which debuted in Halo 2. So you'd know that if you were a real elite gamer like me. I'm just kidding. I love you, whoever commented that.
Two men together can't reproduce.
It's exactly, it's the same. It's the same moralistic framework that, like, when people watch the Matt Walsh kind of deep dive expose I did, and Matt talked about how, like, well, if there's no God, and let's just say, for the sake of argument, that you find, because Matt Walsh's example was, well, what if you find a computer that you didn't do anything, but it has a bunch of child porn on it? If there's no God, by that logic, it should be morally like neutral if you didn't seek it out, but you could. It's like, no, you fucking idiot. That makes you a pedophile. Like, you don't get to relinquish your responsibility to be a good person just because God didn't mention it. It's Anyway, sorry, continue.
Okay.
The fuck? What? What's the justification for being gay? Have you seen Twink Tummy? Huh? Shut up. That's my justification. Have you seen... Who's somebody I can point people towards? I already pointed people towards Chris last time. Cybertwink on Twitter. Have you seen? What's their name? Nebula. Nebula? What's their name? On Twitter. No, it is. Pedro Pascal. Yes, sure. Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal, not my type at all, by the way. Now, I don't really, like, somebody asked earlier about, and I know they were joking, but somebody asked earlier about Hunter Biden, and I'm like, Hunter Biden doesn't really do anything for me. There's like 2 or 3 older dudes, older celebrities that'd be like, yeah. And it has almost entirely everything to do with their personality. I always forget his fucking name. Ethan. He was in First Reformed and Sinister. Chat and John Brown. Or the Good Lord Bird. God damn. Who are we talking? Ethan Hawke, thank you. Yeah, I think Ethan Hawke is hot as fuck. And that's almost entirely to do with his personality. Like, off-camera stuff, he just seems like a very smart, intelligent, emotionally mature person. Anyway. Trent Reznor in the 90s. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. I see you.
Okay.
I see you.
So should we let a pedophile off the hook since they were born that way?
No,
I think we as a society is
Should implement duties to prevent them from acting on that.
Yeah, but again, like, he has firmly established the idea that he believes in. All right, now see, I wanted to play some Halo 2, but now the playlist is just Halo 2, so we're gonna mix it up a little bit. Daniel Craig, yeah. Okay, I don't dislike Daniel Craig. Like, I get it, but just not for me, you know? Yeah, I have seen how Coleman Domingo and his husband met. It's really fucking cute. It's really fucking cute. Yeah, Tom Hiddleston. And here's the thing. I wasn't, like, really into Hiddleston before I watched Loki. And he's just well, you know what? That's not true. I saw him in Kong Skull Islands, and he's pretty good in that. Pretty. This is the kind of motherfucker who is only interested in, like, rubbing shit in somebody else's face. He's not actually interested in making an argument. He's just interested in trying to make Sam mad. And, like, props to Sam. This is why I can't do this debate shit. Is Sam is a bigger man than me, because I would be, and not a man, but I would be, like, calling out the tactic he's using and how he's just a little bitch instead of actually arguing him on the merits, which Sam is doing wonderfully. Hats off to him.
Households. Sorry about better education.
People, gay people should be outlawed.
They should be straight. They should be
Women should be secondary.
So that's what it, oh my God.
Women should submit to the husbands.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He literally, they should be straight. He just said it. He just said it. That's wild. That's crazy. Just absolute open theocratic fascism. Like, not even a hint of hesitation. Yeah, I'm not surprised you want women to submit to you, dude. Doesn't seem like you got a lot of them lining up to begin with. Okay. Yeah, cancel culture does strike again. Let's fucking go.
Sure is.
We already have a
She's a Nazi!
What is
based
the
on
dominant
European
culture?
and Christian values and identity. That is the dominant culture.
White
It's
Christian.
rooted in European identity.
White. So your argument is.
I stood up too fast and I walked away and I got lightheaded there. What? Sis Naruto, thank you very much for by God, that is... She is actually unironically Nazi. Sophie Kingdom, I didn't see this coming. Thank you for preserving the surprise for me. Ma, thank you for $5. Okay, so this woman just wants Emperor Shao Kahn for Overlord of Earthrealm. Kind of basically. Not even as cool as Shao Kahn, though. Shao Kahn's got, like, a skull and shit. Like, Shao Kahn's got a baddie at his side. Yeah, at least she's an honest Nazi. Like, and could you look like any more of a fucking stereotype? I hope he says a melting pot, because that's true. Again, I highly recommend the Ibram Kendi book, Stamped from the Beginning. Go check it out on Amazon. Because, like, from the Pilgrims, from the Quakers, from the very foundational start of America, it has been comprised of disparate groups who did not see eye to eye on a ton of shit. And it's been that way the entire time. What the fuck?
A melting pot in that regard.
Yeah, maybe since like the 1960s. Even then, like even you had to give a melting pot literally means assimilation too. It means melting.
No, it doesn't.
Assimilating to the dominant culture. Is that not what
the
melting
dominant
means?
culture?
And now instead we're saying there's something wrong with xenophobia.
Dominant culture. See, he clocked her on that shit. Good on you, Sam, because that is like the dominant culture. You're gonna literally sit here and be like, no, the white culture is the dominant one. That's I can't even. Jesus Christ. All right, come on. Yeah, red, let's go. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Let's fucking go, chat. Get fucked. Alrighty, chat. I am at a point in the night where I'm hella tired. Let's see who is up doing stuff. Oh shit, let me pause this. Who's saying what? Oh yeah, Sam has like absolute godsend. Could not imagine going through that shit. All right, let's do. And thank you all so much for the support tonight. Thank you all so much for hanging out. We have USA Hole, we have Tomboy Succubus, or Naughty Roomba. Let's go say hi to Billy. They haven't streamed much lately. Go give some good support to Billy, friend of the channel. We love them. Yeah, go give support, go give subscriptions, go like, subscribe, do all the things. And keep an